From the beginning, stock cars outran the police to deliver the hooch to our ancestors. So sweet. Are you ready for a trip down victory lane, where Richard Petty's winnings were insane and Dale Earnhardt put everyone to shame? Canadian Junior Handley is in the Hall of Fame. Live from Haldeman County, it's time for the Driver in Deep podcast. Are you ready?
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for episode 39 of Driver in Deep, brought to you by WingnutSports.com. My name is Mark, and I'm here again with Alex Nagy. Well, it's been a while, Nags, so we wanted to put out a quick episode together, just so more or less so we can thank everyone for a great 2021 and wish everyone a happy new year.
Yeah, it has been a while, actually, since the end of November. Of course, December, super busy month for everybody. And we're no different. You know, work for both of us interfered some, et cetera, you know, life in general. The nice thing about it is for us, for a lot of us, that's 2022. I'm not, although after today's announcements in Ontario, I'm not sure that we're starting out much different than maybe 2020. So, yeah. But listen, it gives us a small amount of renewed hope and a fresh outlook. So I'm looking forward to that. You know, I was going to say it can't be much worse than 2021. So I think for most of us, it's the same thing at the end of 2020. Yeah. But yeah, listen, it's got to get better, man. It's always got to get better.
Well, yeah, I agree. And, you know, that's the only way I'm going to look at things. We have to have a positive outlook on 2022 here. And in spite of, you know, all the things going backwards right now. And we'll probably talk a little bit about that later. But, hey, do you know what the significance of today's date is? The day that, the day the podcast is going out, which will be January 5th?
Of course I do. As you said, today's Wednesday, January 5th. Which is exact 1 year anniversary of our first episode of Driver in Deep. Who the hell would have thought that we could have put up with each other this long? I
agree. I don't know how we did it, but I think some of it is because of the passive-aggressive jokes that we lay on each other. I think that helps get it out of our system. But it's been a lot of fun, and, you know, we're really only just getting started. And, you know, I sure hope everyone enjoyed their Christmas this year and enjoyed bringing in the new year, however you celebrated. And hopefully everyone got to share some, you know, good time with people that are most important to you over the holidays, your families and so on. Hey, I forgot to ask you, Alex, do you have any New Year's resolutions this year?
Not really. I failed at enough of them that I tend to stay clear of them now. What about yourself?
Yeah, you know what? I don't think I've ever kept a resolution either. And you know, I'm one of these guys, and, you know, if you're coming up with a resolution on New Year's Eve, you can pretty much guarantee you're wasting your time.
Good point. Hey, maybe one for you or one for both of us should be that we should stop talking about your sports teams. Forget I said that. So, in just a little summary for everybody, the Sabres are still in the hunt for the first overall pick in the draft. Not for the playoffs. First overall pick is what they're in the hunt for.
Well, I'm looking at playoffs here in the rundown.
Yeah, well, they're not playoffs, buddy. They're looking for first overall pick. And listen, it's nice to see your Bills finally tie a couple of weeks ago. Tie, who you say is the worst team in football, who is also in first place in the AFC. And still are. And it's nice that your Bills were able to maintain, I mean, the super team that you talk about, but they're just trying to maintain pace with the Patriots. You know, all I hear from you is Patriots suck and your team, but hey, your team's tied with them. Enough said, moving on. How's your disc golf game?
Well, hang on a second. You can't just not let me respond to that and by asking me a different question. That was a nice try though.
It's a resolution.
Yeah. First of all, the Sabres are in great shape. And you know what? I still maintain that they're much closer to the Cup than the Leafs are. You know, both Granato and Adams are obviously on the same page when it comes to the youth and development, and they have full support of the Pagulas. You know, you just wait. Quinn, Tuck, and Krebs, first of all, are going to be huge in the next year or two for the Sabres. And, you know, that other first-round draft pick they got. And you know what? You Leaf fans can all enjoy all the meaningless regular season wins, but 5-on-5, the Leafs can't compete with the best teams in the league, and you even admitted that yourself. And the way I see it, they're 1 year away from a rebuild. And by the way, as far as football is concerned, I never, ever said that New England was the worst team in football. I've never, ever, those words have never come out of my mouth.
You
Alex.
sat at Wiggy's with me and your friend Colin Cameron and said they won't even make the playoffs.
I never said that they're the worst. There's a big difference between not making the playoffs and being the worst team in football. And I never underestimated them. What I did say, and I will admit this, is that I hate the Patriots. And I also said they're proven cheaters. And on top of it all, the Bills destroyed them last week. And if they win against the Jets next week, they win the division. It's not a tie. They get the tiebreaker. However they do it, they will win the division if they beat the Jets. So here we are, first place with a home game against the Jets to win the division. We're exactly where I said we would be.
Yeah, remember they didn't do so well against the Jaguars a couple months ago. Anyways, listen, talking proud, buddy, talking proud. Just keep flying the flag.
They had to give Urban Meyer a win, you know.
Yeah.
He's no longer around, so he didn't want to go down as the worst coach in history, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, and like you said, the Sabres must be on the right track because they've been on it for 10 years. I'm not sure where it's going, but they're on a track. Anyways,
just wait and see.
Yeah. Wait.
Yeah,
So listen. So moving on. Resolution.
Do you want to talk about your buddy Gooder's team, Edmonton? We haven't heard him chirping much lately. You know, Edmonton was going to win.
You. He's a super fan. Edmonton's super fan. When Edmonton does bad, you don't hear from him. When the Bills do bad, you disappear for a few days. Sabres, you don't talk about them anymore because they're a train wreck.
Sabres are awesome against Boston. The only thing they need right now is a goalie.
Yeah. Anyways, talk to me when you become a hockey fan instead of a fanboy.
Touche.
Moving on. So we started Driver in Deep because, well, during the pandemic, we all had some extra time. And you, Joni, and you and Joni, Sandy, and myself were part of our so-called bubble that, you know, I think we're going to have bubbles again by the sounds of it. But anyways, you're part of our so-called bubble at the time, and late in 2022 or during the summer or in 2020, I mean, we'd have fires outside and drink some pops, and I'd tell some stories, and you always said we need to share them. And one thing, right. It's kind of funny how it came about. One thing led to another, and January 5th, 2021, we dropped our first episode, and now we're on our 39th in approximately 12 months. Who would have thought?
Yeah. You know, we probably could have had a complete podcast on just what happens at the fire at your house. But yeah, a year later, you know, that's really great. You know, that I think that's a great number of podcasts to have out throughout the year. I know that our listeners, and I don't want to rain on your parade here. You're going to talk about that later, but the listenership has been great, and we've had some great feedback. It's been a ton of fun learning how to deliver this product. You know, hopefully we're getting better, coming up with some better best practices, and we're slowly working on getting some better equipment. You know, we're getting ready for video coming up, and the fact that people listen to us and it just keeps growing. You know, of course, obviously it has a lot to do with the incredible guests that we've had on the show as well.
I agree, absolutely. You know, we've only had one return guest in 12 months, which was Luke Ramsey from the United Racing Series. And that was to talk about Jacasset closing because it did have an effect on his series and so on. So we just brought him on to talk to it a little bit. So it was a bit of a different animal and a tough episode to get through for sure. But we still have so many great guests to get to. I can't wait. Except, and like you said, you know, we have a long way to go still as far as getting better and improving our product. But it got me thinking about the first bunch of episodes, and I listened to a few of them over the holidays. And sometimes I think, you know what, maybe we should get some of those early guests back on at some point, because I feel that we could do a better interview now with more experience, and I think we'd probably do them more justice. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I can't believe how far we've come as well. I have a hard time listening to us back again. Some of those older episodes. Sorry, say that again.
I have a hard time listening to you.
Well, without being on a podcast. I know. I don't know what you were thinking when you said, let's do the podcast. But yeah, I think it'd be great to have some of our guests from 2021 come back and join us. You know, for me, it was my first time meeting a lot of these people. And so now that I've, you know, formed a little bit of a relationship, it'd be great to hear what they've been up to. And I also have to say, Alex, I've been incredibly impressed with the motorsports community. We've literally not had a dud guest on the podcast. And I guess if we did, we're not going to admit it anyway, but we really haven't. You know, in motorsports racing, you know, it may traditionally have been, you know, somewhat of a redneck sport. And, you know, that moniker, I guess some people may draw conclusions that people in the sport might not be the brightest, you know, and that might have had something to do with, remember Jeff Foxworthy, the comedian?
Yeah.
Did you ever listen to that guy?
Yeah.
Oh, he's funny. Like, you know, hey, Pa, get off me chest. You're crushing me smokes. You know, you just might be a redneck if you have to say that. I mean, hilarious stuff, but it doesn't really give that community, you know, what they deserve, because the reality is every one of our guests have been extremely intelligent and really great communicators as far as I'm concerned. And yes, I would love to have them all back on at some point in time.
I agree. It'd be awesome for sure. And you're right. I mean, that moniker has really gone by the wayside for quite some time. I mean, the same could be said about so many different sports and different things. So it's just part of evolution. But, you know, what blows my mind is that while we're off for the month of December, following on the back end of our site, we can track everything and who listens, where they're from, blah, blah, blah. And it just blew me away that all through the month of December, we'd continue to have new people listening to a lot of our episodes, which was awesome. And I feel that our guests have been very impressive. I think you'd mentioned that. And in my opinion, it's got a lot to do with it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hang on a sec here. Sorry. I'm getting a message from my daughter's school. I wonder what that's all about, eh?
Yeah.
And I got a new phone, so I can't figure out how to turn it down. Oh, swipe down. All right.
You just said we're getting new technology. You can't.
Well, I know, but I just switched from Apple to Android. It's going to take.
Finally.
Well, we don't need to get into that. I'm sure our listeners don't care. But yeah, you know, we can maybe go through a few of our guests that we had and you know, talk about. I'm sure you have some updates on what's happening with some of our guests and so on. You got anyone you want to start with?
Yeah, I mean, hard to remember them all, but yeah, a few stick out for me. So one, thinking about Derek Lynch, a great racer, great guest. Look forward to having him back. But the cool thing about Derek, if you follow him on Facebook, is that he has located one of his dad's most popular late model cars from back in the 70s, 80s, I believe it was. If I'm wrong, Derek, I apologize. But he's restoring it, and it's pretty cool. He's been accumulating a bunch of parts from all over the place, trying to go period correct. So that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I did know a little bit about that. And, you know, Derek was also our first guest on the show.
He was.
And, you know, I know he probably doesn't know, but for me, we did a couple of test podcasts, and, you know, we had to figure out the technology and make sure that we had something that we knew was going to work. And I was nervous, you know, probably the first couple. And, you know, no question, Derek made me feel at ease. Really great guy. You know, and maybe right after we did the podcast, I'm like, all right, I'm rooting for him. You know, yeah. Really, really great guy. I love to hear what he's up to again. But yeah, that's cool. When is he going to have this car restored?
Oh, it'll be a while. I'm sure he'll knock a bunch of it out of the park here during the winter. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see where he's at by spring. You know
who else? Well, like I said, so many of them impress me. But do you have any updates on what Jordan Zoke has been up to with?
Yeah, so, you know, Jordan's been our only motorcycle guy. We'll definitely get some more bike guys on, but
yeah,
he talked to me privately about retiring at the end of 2021. And but he's announced now he's coming back in 2022. Probably part of that is I know he wants to go out a champion, and it's been a while since he hasn't won a championship. But I think he was second or third this year, but he did have a shot at the last race. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he's coming back in 2022. So that's pretty exciting. He's a legend in that sport.
Yeah, sort of like the Tom Brady of motorbikes, eh?
Yeah.
When are you going to retire? When I bet you hears that every single day at this point, right?
Yeah, and a lot of the young guys hope it's soon. I can tell you that because he still gets after it. And just mentioning Derek Lynch and restoring that car. So another guest we had was J.R. Fitzpatrick, and
yeah,
I don't know why, and he's going to probably text me after he hears this, but he really moved the needle for us. And as far as their listeners go, and I get it. He's a polarizing figure. He's raced a lot. He has his opinion is heard and well respected. And it's funny because I've been texting with him over the past couple of days, and he put it on Facebook, but he had located, and he's got in his shop one of his original race cars from back in the 90s, I believe it was, or early 2000s, I guess. And he's got it cut apart, didn't know whether he's going to make it into maybe a current super stock or do something with it or customize it. And he put it out on Facebook, and I responded and said, man, trust me, you'll wish you kept it original, because for me, every day I wish I had one of my old cars at this point, because once they're gone, they're either cut up or somebody's turned it into whatever. Who knows where they are? Except for my last cast car chassis is Dave Bailey's car, so maybe I'll steal that one time and rebuild that thing. But anyway, so JR texted me today, and he said, I'm going to make it original, man. But he said, and I always raced an open face helmet for most of my career when JR was a kid. And he said, I'm going to rebuild it, and you're going to drive it in an exhibition. And he said, but you have to wear your open face helmet with your mustache hanging out. So I said, deal.
You're going to have to grow some handlebars on that mustache.
Yeah. Or dye it brown like it was back in the 90s.
Yeah. Hey, another guy that really moved the needle for us was Pete Shepard, third, I guess.
Yeah, for sure he did.
Yeah, he was a great guest too, and there's so many of them. I mean, I don't know if we want to go through in any kind of order here or not. I would also like to mention LP Dumoulin, because for me personally, I was there when he won. He's now a 3-time champ, right?
He is, yeah. Well, hey, getting back to 3 and Pete Shepard 3.
Yeah.
Rumor has it he's hanging up the helmet. I think next time we have him on, he'll be talking about waxing his new motorhome.
Are you breaking news here, or
no? It's pretty much out there, but
it is. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Well, that's a bit of a shame, but I understand. How old were you when you hung it up?
I was young. I was early 30s.
Wow.
I still had a lot left, just how it ended up. And I ended up moving down south and managing some racetracks, and got in the management side, and it kind of the
longer you stay away from it, the harder it is to go back, probably, right?
Well, it's funny. I tell people all the time, I left when I was still in my prime, and I don't know any different. I never really fell off. So all I can remember is I'm still fast. So, even at my age, I still think I can sit in one and drive fast, but I'm sure that if I ever did it, that would be proven different.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. Maybe if you're driving that with that open face helmet again, you'll get the feeling back again.
You never know.
But yeah, no, anyway, I just LP when he won the championship, which I mean, I never saw that coming at the beginning of the weekend, but congratulations to him, and what a great guy. I mean, I hadn't met him at that point, and we walked up there around Victory Lane, and there was, I don't know how many reporters and so on there, and he took the time to come over and say hi and shake my hand, and just a great guy and a great champion.
Yeah, it was tough to get a word with him because our buddies at Stickers and Stuff podcast, Can K and Grade and Bun, I mean, they're all over Mike's Not to a Hot Stove. I didn't think we'd ever get to him.
Yeah, no, that was good. Actually, that was my first time meeting Cam and Graydon in person as well. Graydon's kids or boys were there too. So, Good for them. They're real huge fans of the sport, and you know they keep putting out content too, and I hope they keep doing it.
Yeah, they will for sure. And you know, I mean, it's a great weekend at Delaware, and heading into that weekend, the Pinty Series Championship was Alex Tagliani, and
Yeah.
you know, I'm not going to lie,
He had a tough weekend.
He did. I mean, he was looking for his first championship, and of course,
Yeah.
we go back quite a ways and are really good friends, and I've worked with him a lot in racing, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, I was hoping that he was going to pull it off, but it goes that way. The highs are high and lows are low in our sport, and he was on the low end that weekend, but he'll be back for sure. He'll be tough in 2022.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it would be great to see him make a comeback and put that behind him. You know, bad weekend, but, you know, pretty good season overall. But did he end up second or third?
Man, no, I don't remember. See, nobody remembers whoever they're losing for, right? Just the champs. But yeah, like you said, good for LP. Good team, good people, nice family. So yeah, either way, it was great.
Yeah. Yeah. Who else do you want to give a shout out to?
Well, how about Derek Griffith?
Yeah.
We haven't had a lot of U.S. folks on our podcast yet. We had Rob Edwards, of course, the CEO of Andretti Autosport, and he's got a lot cooking. But Derek had an incredible late model season all over North America, primarily the States with COVID. But yeah, he had a great year and good guest. And he's be interesting to see how his season goes, starting at New Smyrna for the World Series, trying to three-peat.
Yeah, he's right on the verge, isn't he? Of, you know, he's got a good shot to get where he wants to go, I think.
Yeah, he's had some opportunities. It's funny, you know, in this sport, you don't usually get more than a shot, and we'll see. It's going to have to happen soon, I think. Mm-hmm. But either way, you'll be happy doing whatever he's doing.
And, you know, on the other end of the scale, you got, you know, Derek being a great up-and-comer youngster. Mark Dilley, you know, is he going to retire at some point?
I don't know. Rumor has it. We'll see. I think he wants to retire. He doesn't know how. He doesn't quite know how he's going to do it. So, yeah, no, it'd be interesting to see how old Dilster makes out the off season here. See if he comes out with a helmet or not. Maybe have to get a new fire suit, and that'll make his decision for him.
You know, what I've sort of seen so far from a lot of guys is that, you know, motorsports is a career, and you might be a driver for a certain period of time, but then you could go into fabricating, or there's so many different areas that you can go into and stay within the sport. But at some point, you know, you got to think, wow, I mean, the way these cars are driving, I mean, I know how I feel just when I move the wrong way at this point. So, you know, you hit a wall or get by. I mean, you got to be feeling that as you get older.
Yeah, like I said, I left in my prime where Dilly won't be. Sorry, Mark.
Sorry.
But you know,
are you saying he's over the hill?
Damn right he is, and he knows it. But all kidding aside, for Dilly, you know, he won't be a fabricator. I can guarantee you that. He won't be building engines. I can guarantee you that. But with him and TJ and the Ruminato group, they've got some racing going on, trying to expand. They're creating quite the motorsports team. So, you know, I can see management in his future for sure. So we'll see where that goes. Be interesting to see what happens with Merrick.
Yeah. Hey, you know, another guy that I really had fun with on the podcast was Ron St. Clair.
Yeah.
He was a lot of fun. I mean, I even did my, my best Rick Jenneret call.
Yeah.
On that
Ronnie's,
podcast. I can't listen to it though. I can't go back and listen to it.
Yeah, he's a classic. Ronnie was a great guest for sure.
Yeah, he was. You sure know how to pick him, that's for sure. And same, you know, on that side of things, Norris McDonald.
Yeah.
What amazing stories.
Well, you know what I think about him? He's the GOAT.
Yeah.
He's something. Yeah, he's got so many years of experience, and he's never going to quit. I know for sure.
Why would he? Yeah.
He just can't. And why would he? He's so sharp, and he knows his stuff. Incredible things to read, and he remembers everything that he's ever done.
Oh, I know.
It's crazy.
Some of the things he was recalling were from 50 years ago.
Yeah,
unbelievable. And he did the interview while he was driving his car in downtown Toronto on speakerphone. I mean, he's not a young man, so I can't, that was amazing.
Yeah, he's a pro. Speaking of pros, we even had Shy Brandon Watson on the podcast, and his dad said,
"Yeah, what a great year."
His dad Tim thought that was awesome because Brandon opened up a little bit with us, and hell of a racer, man. Yeah, second APC championship. We'll see. Maybe a new challenge for him this year. I know as a competitor in the past, I mean, sometimes as a competitor, it's not where you race all the time. It's sometimes looking for a new challenge, and we'll see what's in store for Watson in 2022. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, with all that early success in his career, I mean, I'll definitely be following him as well. That's awesome.
I can tell you one thing. Whether he races late models or anything, whatever he races next year, I guarantee you one thing, he'll be up at the front.
Yeah. Yep. I'd say you're right. I'd definitely say you're right. Who else was a pretty funny guy was Ricky Walt.
Super funny. You can't call him Ricky.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I think we changed his name to Teabag, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We changed it to Teabag.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think my brother Jimmy was calling him Teabag, that's for sure. So we'll see who the next Teabag.
He was a recipient anyway.
He was.
I wonder if Rick had a resolution to see who he's going to teabag in 2022.
Oh, I could just imagine.
It might have already happened after midnight. You never know.
Yeah, no, there's a good chance of it. And hey, Ricky, he's speaking of wheelman, he's a hell of a wheelman, and he's going full-time APC racing in 2022. So that's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And then Dave Bailey, what a quiet champion, really. I mean, he's won so much over the years, and he just keeps piling up the wins.
Yeah, funny story. Just the other day, I had sold a Thunderstock, dirt Thunderstock guy something, and he come and picked it up, and he told me what class he raced in. And I said, you raced against my buddy Dave Bailey. He goes, I thought I was going to win my first race last year, and that bastard. He said he's something else. He said, I said, you should talk. He said, have you ever talked to him? He said no. I said, you should spend some time and talk to him. Dave's a quiet guy, but I'll tell you, he'll share info and help you out. And he's definitely great that way. And again, hell of a wheelman. And if you're listening, Bailey, don't get rid of that car. I might have to rebuild it when you're done with it.
Yeah. I think the price just went up.
Yeah.
Well, what about 2022, Alex? You want to talk a little bit about the year ahead?
Yeah, I guess for me, just get past COVID, man. And I'm not speaking, I guess I'm proudly speaking for everybody. We're all tired of it. And seems like we've talked about it for 12 months on this podcast, and maybe we should make it a point to never talk about it again, and maybe it'll go away. But
yeah,
I think you mentioned
it away.
Yeah, no kidding.
But what? I do want to say this, and I'm not going to get political, definitely not. But I feel like there's so much more behind some of the decisions that are being made than just what's best for everybody. And they might not even know, but I can tell you people are getting frustrated. Here we are again, about to, things are closing up again. And, it's frustrating. And, this whole Omicron thing, I understand why some of the things were done, but some of the things make no sense.
I agree.
And I have to stop trying to understand the logic behind some of the decisions because it's just not there.
Yeah. And, for me, I don't even watch. I was never a news watcher, but when the pandemic started, I don't think anybody didn't watch some or listen to some sort of news because it was so new to us all.
Yeah.
And probably the past, 3 months, 2 months, I just haven't watched. I don't even care what they say, to be honest. I'm just doing what I'm doing, trying to be safe and be smart. And
it's, where I feel bad, besides the people that get really sick, and obviously there's some high risk people that I think that they should be getting taken care of first. And I think that's what's trying to happen. But the whole thing, businesses are just getting pummeled.
Killed. Yeah.
And I don't know how the economy can keep being propped up the way it is. It's scary. I heard yesterday gas prices are going up by like another 20 cents a liter in 2022. It's already $1.40 here.
Yeah, well, the scary part for me is the prop up part because it's easy to prop something up or say you're going to prop something up, but it's not free. And somewhere
That's
down the
right.
road, we're all going to pay for it, and that's going to be the big hurt. But let me tell you.
Our
But
kids,
anyway,
our grandkids.
yeah.
But other than COVID, I know that we've talked a little bit about it before, but our plan is to launch our YouTube video channel in 2022.
Yeah, we'll have enough equipment now. We're just trying to get our faces redone so we don't scare anybody.
The equipment's the easy part, right? Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's definitely we want to make sure we do it right or somewhat right, and so we have some work to do before we do that, and that's not just going to be motorsports. There will be motorsports that are going to be on the YouTube channel. Driver in Deep, there'll be a whole section there, but we've already talked about we want to launch a second podcast as well that might be a little more generic, so we can talk about whatever we feel like. Have different people with different areas of expertise join us, perhaps.
Yeah, that'll be good. Looking forward to that. And listen, the biggest thing is time, right? Even though we've all seemed to have had more time in my hands, even probably more so for myself, but yeah, it's hard. But yeah, you know what? Just like you say, the key is to be ready before launching so that you're not doing it half-assed. So looking forward to it.
And find our own niche. I mean, there's so many people doing so many different things. We don't want to be the same as everybody else. We want to try to give a little different look at things.
For sure.
Yeah. What about personally? How about you got any goals in mind? I know they're not resolutions, but do you have any goals in mind?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we all try to be better at what we do all the time, and that will never change for me. I want to continue playing some disc golf. It's a great release. It's a good outlet for me, and it's fun to learn. I love to learn, so that's great. Look forward to seeing your face when the Bills get beat out in the first round of the playoffs.
Wow.
That's going to be exciting and personal. I mean, and then I guess really for me personally, somewhere down there, I mean, it's going to be different for me in 2022. I don't know what that is yet, but hopefully it's in motorsports, but I will definitely be doing something different daily.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that we didn't really talk much about that when we talked about 2021. I think we've covered it all before, but I have no doubt in my mind that wherever you land and whatever you're doing is going to be exactly what you want to do, and you're just going to move forward.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, we talked about Chicasa. Fortunately, listen, I'm still here, great people, and but we all know that it's going to be different moving forward at some point here. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it at the same time. And yeah, I mean, we've talked about new challenges for racers, and new challenges personally are scary and exciting at the same time. So looking forward to it, actually.
Yeah. And I'm sure it won't be long before we have something to announce or talk about. But anyway.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, same thing as far as disc golf's concerned. I got the bug last year and I passed it on to you, and you've done the same to several people. I think we probably have about 20 or more people now that we've had out to play, and I haven't heard a single person say they didn't enjoy themselves.
No, that's right. It's fun.
And it's a kind of game that you can play forever, hopefully. I've had a couple of little injuries here and there, but
yeah, you can play in the off season, some on nice winter days. We've had a lot of those, and that part of it's been really cool. Pick your spots, of course, but yeah, it's a fun sport.
Yeah, I will say this too. Any of our listeners that are from the area, if you are interested in coming out with us, hit us up on Twitter or Facebook or any of our social media channels, because we love to show you the sport. That's how much we like it. We want to show it to other people.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
And maybe for you and I, we can go watch a pro tournament or two.
That'd be fun.
There's the Music City Open in Nashville. I just want to plant that seed.
That would be a good one.
I think it's a major as well. I have never been to Nashville, and I can take advantage of that. You could show me around.
I'd be happy to do it.
And getting back to motorsports, I'm interested to see how these new cars that NASCAR is putting out there this year. I want to see how that's going to change things. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think we talked about it a little bit. I talked to I talked to a writer about this too, I guess. Yeah, it's going to be different, and I think it'll give some new teams, different teams, opportunity to compete for wins, especially going through the growing pains. If it's always anytime you have something new, somebody's got to win the race to start them right away. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out of the box. There's been a lot of testing. Cars look good. It's like anything, they're still new, but I think the first few tests during the season last year, there were some negative vibes about it. But it's like anything, you just keep massaging it. There's a bunch of smart people that work on those things, and they've found ways to make them faster, and they've determined a horsepower ratings that they're going to use now in spoiler heights for, I think there's only 2 options. So that's a good thing instead of bouncing all over the place. I think it's good. And, teams definitely think that it's going to save money, and that's a good thing because we need to, as we talked about so many different times, we need to save ourselves from ourselves. And that's, containing cost is important. So we'll see where it goes. But, I will say this, one thing I know, and it doesn't matter what type of race car, what type of anything in any sport, for the most part, the good people are going to be good. And no matter how even the playing field is, the big teams are going to be the big teams.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, any opportunity you have to bring a smaller team, or no matter what sport you're looking at, a smaller market team in different sports, but a smaller team, and bring them a little closer to the top, where you can have more competition rather than 5 or 6 guys that are always going to be there. There's not a new opportunity, and hopefully that's what is going to be the result of this.
I agree.
Yeah. Wow, we agree a lot. Well, not on everything, of course, but
no, of course not. It is the new year. We got to start off, a little bit respectful to each other.
It'll go downhill from here,
or we'll never get through 2022. God knows that's true.
Well, you know what? We hope everyone had a great Christmas holiday, and we want to wish everyone all the best in 2022. We're looking forward to bringing it this year and continuing to grow with your support, of course.
For sure. And again, from myself and my family as well, Happy New Year, everybody. We'll kick off the new year with our first guest, actually, of 2022, who's going to be something or somebody that nobody's going to want to miss. I can tell you that. I'm not even going to tell you. I haven't even told you, and I don't know when I'm going to tell you. We're going to record next week or early next week. So I guess at some point I'll have to tell you, but I'm just afraid that if I tell you too early, I'm not telling you. I was going to tell you now, but I'm not telling you. So
what?
Anyways,
when are you going to let me in on this?
I'll have it set up and ready to go, buddy. Just show up.
Okay. All right. And don't forget, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook just by searching for Wingnut Sports. And do us a favor. Hit the subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it. And that's all we got for now. Looking forward to seeing you guys soon, and chat later.
I agree. Next week's going to be a big one, folks.
We're wide open sideways.
All right, you're clear.
Talk is cheap.
You're clear on that.
Got the foot to the floor. There's only driver in deep.
Gonna be on the inside of you. All right, you're clear. Got a slow boat coming up on your inside. All right, you're clear. You're clear on this. Gonna be on the inside of you. All right, you're clear.